Grand rising and greetings. This is your brother Chief Flying Eagle, Ra Elohim, aka the Black Identity Slayer. I just came from working out, but before I work out or during my workout, I always sun gaze and I'm asking, our righteous ancestors just, to continue to guide and protect me and give me the solutions for my people. You know, help me elevate them because they sent me here for a reason to restore them, so they have to assist me. And literally, like I said, they always come to me and they came to me and they gave me instructions. And that's what I'm doing here today. I've been talking about being the Black Identity Slayer, talking about, the misclassification of our people in the system. And although this may not make sense, but I look at the certificate of live birth and the birth certificate as a record of life, as a record of life. You know what I'm saying? And they told me that in the record of life, in the system, you are put in there as entity, as an entity that is the property, okay, of an organization, a corporation. And therefore, you have to declare yourself as who you truly are. Make your declaration. It is not just a physical thing. It's a spiritual thing. Connect yourself back or correct yourself in the eyes of our ancestors. So they instructed me to the declaration that I gave everyone as a gift. I've always been talking about, but I never really went into it and read it for everybody and show you. I've done it on TikTok, maybe on YouTube, I'm not sure, but I'm literally going to go in detail and break all of this down because I really want y'all to get this. And it's a gift from me to you. So this is what I was instructed to do. And I'm very obedient when the ancestors speak to me. All right. So this may be a little bit lengthy. However, it's imperative. It would behoove you to correct yourself in the eyes of the ancestors so that that correction will transition and manifest into the physical realm. All right. This is a silent war that we are going through. And I'm teaching you how to move stealth. You don't have to be debating people. You don't have to be marching and walking in the streets, causing ruckus. You don't have to do none of that. All right. I'm showing you how to do that from a spiritual perspective and watch it manifest in the flesh. You did. So here we go. All right. I created this, like I said, months and months and months and months ago, and I give it to everybody as a gift. But here I am breaking it down to you. Okay. When the United States wanted their independence from Britain, what did they do? They did a Declaration of Independence. You feel me? And everyone on earth has a right to an identity, a nationality, to be part of their own distinct community. You have that right. Self-determination is an international right. So you're not doing anything illegal. You're not doing anything unlawful. In fact, international law supports this. All right. All right, let's go. Declaration of Original American Status. Where anything you see in red, you have to replace it. But I'm going to explain that and break it down. I, man, woman. So if you're a man, of course, you take off woman. If you're a woman, you take off man. And you make sure you, like I said, you put everything black back in black. So I, man, woman. All right. John or Jane Doe. In other words, if your name is Tony Brown, it would be I, man, Tony of the Brown family. So you are saying that you came from a family and you did not originate from a corporation that created you on paper. All right. So that statement is actually saying that. You feel me? So I, man, woman, John or Jane Doe of the Doe family, known to my tribal people, and then put your tribal name. Now I put if applicable because a lot of people don't have their indigenous name. A living, breathing, original indigenous American man, woman of the land by blood, not just by birth, which is just solely. We are just sanguine. American Indians by blood, not native by birth. Okay. Hereby make this formal declaration of my Aboriginal American identity and original standing as a descendant, ascendant, because we were descendants. because we fell. We were descending. Now we are ascending because we are evolving back into our true selves of the time immemorial peoples of the Americas, not just the United States, but the Americas as a collective, because it's about the collective and not individuality. You feel me? Now, with that being said, a lot of people don't have indigenous names. If you know what tribe that your family originated from, whether it's Arawak, Taino, Choctaw, Creek, Blackfeet, Cherokee, and the likes, then what I would suggest is the ancestors could come to you and give you that name, ask them for guidance. Or you could go Google the boy and girl names in that particular tribe and their meaning. And you go through the entire list. And I promise you, the name that's for you, it's going to call you. And when you see it, you'll know. And that would be your name. And I would suggest having, in fact, I'll go over that, in the supporting documents. Okay, let's proceed. My lineage, ancestry, rightful heritage, and inheritance are rooted in the sovereign and self-governing Aboriginal people that predate the colonial and corporate structures imposed upon my ancestral lands. Now, you will hear the term sovereign citizens. We are not sovereign citizens. We are a sovereign people. All right. And there are resolutions that the United States actually supports that says and speaks of us being sovereigns. So once they try to pull you in a box and tell you you're a sovereign citizen, denounce that in the name of our ancestors. Show them the document. Go to House Resolution 331 and show them exactly right in their own documents they call our people a sovereign people, because they need to stop playing these games. Like I said, I was sent for this. All right. Affirmation of indigenous identity and status. 1, I am an original American, politically identified as American Indian, whose ancestry, customs, and inherited rights are tied to this land since time immemorial, as affirmed by Article 3 of the Northwest Ordinance 1787. Quote, the utmost good faith, not some faith, but the good faith, shall always be observed towards the Indians. Who are the Indians? We are the Indians. Okay, more did not come before the Indians. Israel did not come before the Indians. Hebrew did not come before the Indians. We have always been Indians in law. That's where our rights are protected. Our ancestors gave us that. You feel me? Let's go to a map of 450 BC, Herodotus map. And I've shown y'all before, it was the land, the territory of Indians. We have always been Indians. Christopher Columbus did not call us Indians. That's a lie. All right. The lands and property shall never, it never said can be taken, shall never be taken from them without their consent. And in their property rights and liberty, they shall never be invaded or disturbed. The only reason why it happened is because we were tricked to give up our identity as Indians. So the mere fact you fell out of grace with our ancestors, that is why we are being persecuted as a people, not because of the color of your skin, but because of your status and your standing with the righteous ancestors. You fell out of grace. I'm here to bring you back into the fold of the righteous ancestors and watch them do work. I keep telling y'all I was sent for this, and nobody do it like me. Nobody. I'll keep repeating that. Number 2, my identity is not determined by any foreign entity, government, or colonial framework, but rather by my bloodline, cultural heritage, and the natural laws of my ancestors. 3, I affirm that my existence and standing as an original American man/woman, either way, are self-evident, recognized by the customs, traditions, and oral histories of my people. Our oral history holds more weight in court than any paper trail that was given to us, because the paper trail, it's part of the what you call the paper genocide. So if your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your grandfather, your great-grandfather told us this is who we are, then that stands as law in court. And this is your affidavit of truth, correcting that status, making your declaration, putting it down on paper, thinking about it, writing it down, putting it together like I did is the spiritual declaration. Now, once you put it on record, it becomes the physical declaration. You feel me? Number 3, I affirm that my existence and standing as an original American man or woman are self-evident, recognized by the customs, traditions, and oral histories of my people. Number 4, I do not relinquish, we are not giving up our rights, all right, or waive any of my inherent rights, because that was given to us by our ancestors. Our sovereignty or self-determination under any foreign rule, and I mean any. Assertion of rights. 1, I retain my rights as an original indigenous American under natural law, common law, and international declarations, including but not limited to the American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, ADRIP. If you're not familiar with it, go look it up, because we were given our own declaration in 2015, 2016. All right? The United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, UNDRIP. Get familiar with it. H.Con Res 331, recognizing American Indians as the original sovereigns of this land. Go look it up. Don't believe anything that I say, because in the word believe is the word lie. Do your due diligence. Correct yourself. Make your declaration. Bring yourself back into grace with our righteous ancestors and watch them work. Number 2, I reject, in the name of our ancestors, any misclassification that attempts to diminish or redefine my status outside of my rightful standing as an original indigenous American. Number 3, I assert my lawful right to self-identify, govern, and exist free from unlawful coercion, misclassification, or denial of my status and identity by any corporate, municipal, state, or federal entity. Number 4, as stated in Article 4 of the Northwest Ordinance, I affirm my entitlement to due process, protection from unlawful detainment, and recognition under just laws, stating, before I state that, they cannot take due process from original indigenous people, American Indians. They could only take it away from their corporate citizens. We are American Indians, non-domestic. We are American Indians without the United States. Like I told y'all before, I was sent for this. Let's get back to the document. Open quote. The inhabitants of said territory shall always be entitled to the benefits of writ of habeas corpus and of the trial by jury, a jury of our peers. If they're not American Indians, that is not a jury of your peer. They have to correct their status in order to stand or judge you. Like I said, the ancestors have spoken. And of the judicial proceedings according to the course of common law. Go look it up. I'm not making it up. Number 5, I recognize my standing within my own Aboriginal American community, reserve all rights, titles, and claims associated with any of my ancestry and lineage. Notice of all parties. Number 1, this declaration serves as a public and lawful notice of my American Indian status in accordance with Northwest Ordinance 1787, natural law and international law. Number 2, any attempt to deny, alter, or challenge my identity without due cause, lawful jurisdiction, or mutual agreement will be deemed an infringement upon my rights as protected by Article 3 of the Northwest Ordinance. Number 3, this document is lawfully recorded and stands as evidence of my assertion of my race, identity, status, and rights as an Aboriginal American. And I will show you how to do all of that. Executed and affirmed on this day. You're going to put your autograph. The reason why I put autograph opposed to signature is because your autograph, because that's your signature, so to speak, in gold. On the periodic scale of metals, the symbol for gold is AU. So every time you sign, you are signing in gold. You are the energy. You are the lawful money. The ancestors have spoken. Your name, Jane or John Doe, aka your tribal name. You're going to put the date. You're going to go before a notary, a jurat, okay? And you're going to affirm and ascribe before this day of 2025 or whenever you do it. I suggest you make an attempt to do that before January 6th in 2026, because that's when the Jubilee will be over. All right? You're going to sign, put your information, everything in red here must go. That's only instructions, notes and instructions. This only instructions and should not be part of your declaration. Please delete it from your declaration. Please replace Jane or John Doe with your name and your family name. You may or may not have a tribal name. I suggest you get one, or you may choose to just use your birth name, and that's cool. but I suggest getting an indigenous name, and I already explained that. This document is your formal declaration of your indigenous American identity. You can send it to any agency of your choice, including your job. Make sure you create a separate supporting document with images such as your tribal ID, world passport if you got that, but your tribal ID will do for now. Everyone has a right to self-identify. Therefore, you can have your own ID. As I said before, we already have a republic that is established, and you may request to be a part of it if you so choose. If you don't want to, that's fine, but I'm still giving you the gift. You feel me? You also have the right to create your own. If you do decide to request being part of the republic, we only seek righteous people, people with integrity, loyal people, respectable people, and willing to put in the work it takes to restore our blood right and birthright. I am not here to peddle paperwork. So if that's what you're asking, that's not what I do. I'm here and I was sent to restore my people. Only here to restore the allodial birthright and blood right of my people. Make sure your particular status was and is a republic. All right. No, make sure your particular state, because on the ID it has republic, or it may have, if it's not a republic, you could put territory. I'll explain that in a few minutes. If it wasn't, here is an example. Only put, like, for instance, New York State opposed to New York State, put New York State opposed to state of New York, because state of is the de facto. State of is de facto, and New York State is actually the republic. Okay, of course, you will replace that with your state. All right, I'm going to stop sharing, and at this time, we are going to go over the supporting document. All right, give me 1 second here. Let me just pull that up. Here goes the supporting document. We are going to go over that. Like I said, I literally just came from sun gazing, man, meditating, and the ancestor said, Chief, you've been talking about it. You've actually given it to people, and you have done this before, but I think a lot more people need more clarification. So just do one video on that alone and explain the purpose and significance of correcting their status within the book, all right, that our ancestors have written for us. And they have their own book of life. And it's time to declare and put yourself back in the grace of our righteous ancestors. So here goes the supporting documents. That's also on the website. All right. Now, supporting documents for declaration of original American status, prepared by, as we read in the declaration, John or Jane Doe, and your tribal name, you're going to put the date. Statement of authentication. I, man, woman, whichever it is, John Doe, Jane Doe, but you're going to put your name instead, right? Also known within my tribal community, put your indigenous name. Submit the following supporting documents as verification of my American original indigenous status. These documents serve as evidence of my ancestral heritage, tribal affiliation, and recognized standing within my community. Attached documents, tribal identification, verification my standing within my indigenous community. These documents are submitted as part of my document of my formal declaration to affirm my sovereign identity. Remember, not sovereign citizen, but your sovereign identity. We are the sovereign people of the land as original indigenous man, woman of the Americas. Certification of statement. I certify that the attached document is true and accurate copies of originals in my possession. You're going to sign here. Of course, you could replace that with autograph. It's fine. Okay. John Doe, Jane Doe, your tribal name, your email. All right. Your tribal identification card. As you could see, I give you a sample. Now, you could create your own, or you could have me create it for you. The one that I create is professional. It has holograms. It has security features. It's a real powerful, I promise you, okay, professional looking ID. You are right on top of your picture. It says American Indian, authenticate certificate of identification. It goes your title, which is your indigenous name that's going to go on this. Here's an example: Golden Sunrise. All right. CO means care of, or a corner of, because when you just put just a regular address, you are in jurisdiction in a what's called a federal zone. So CO means in care of or corner of. Now, an example of an address: 23 Burke Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, Republic. Wherever you at, make sure it's a republic. If it's not a republic, you could put territory. All right. So let's just say if let's just see let me give you an example. Let's say Georgia, if it's not a republic, you could put Georgia territory. And the two numbers you see, 23, that's the last two numbers of the zip code. The full zip codes put you in a federal zone. The last two, it still is the zip code, but it takes you out of the federal zone, and it's in brackets. As you can see, we American Indians, non-domestic, meaning that even if we're American Indians and the United States actually feel that they have jurisdiction over American Indians, we are clearly stating that we are non-domestic. So meaning that we are not part of the federal corporation. All right. That's what it means. Turtle Island, America. You're going to create your own ID number. If I do it for you, I could create that. Okay. And of course, February 26th is the birthday below. Your nature. If a woman, if you're a man, you put man, your height, your eyes color, your date of birth, so to speak, your issued, and there's no expiration on your ID. No expiration whatsoever. As you could see below in red, it says Northwest Ordinance 1787, Article 3. All right. Below, you're going to put your tribe or tribes. There's space for only two. So if you're a Choctaw, Arawak, you put that below. You're going to put your autograph. As you could see, I gave you an example of my autograph. Right on that, right, I reserve my rights automatically. 1-308. Okay. And this is the back. Legal notice, international recognition. This ID affirms inherent indigenous rights. Confiscation or denial of recognition violates international law under global human rights law. International lawful basis, UNDRIP. Okay. And then you have ICCPR Article 27. ICCPR stands for International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Go look at Article 27. We also have ICESCR. All right, so all those, you could actually look those up. Look at Article 1. We have the Hague Convention, private international law. We have ILO Convention 169. And this is lawfully binding because the United States is a party to ILO and all these different organizations. So therefore, it's legally and lawfully binding because now we are non-domestic, so it applies. And ILO means International Labor Organization, and it's binding. Then we have ADRIP, which is American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, Self-Determination, Identity, and Governance Rights. We also have the USA Constitution, Article 1, Section 3, Indians not taxed, International Travel ID. And once you scan it, it takes you straight to the United Nations website. All right. So my brothers and sisters, like I said, man, the ancestors gave me instructions to come do this for you, explain this. Like I said, it was a little bit lengthy. So I give it to you as a gift. And what you need to do, what you don't need to, if I were you, I would actually get this done. All right. So let me show you the website to go to download those documents and get it done. My email is always in the link. So here we go. Let me go to the website. Where is the website at? The website. Let me hold on for a second. For some reason, it's not coming up where it's at. Go back, myniji.com, and let us go to the website. Let me share this, share the screen, and we're going to go to myniji.com. And here we go. So you're going to go to myniji.com. That's MYNIIJI.com. All right. And you're going to scroll down. As you could see, here you go, the Declaration of American Indian Status and the Declaration of American Indian Status supporting document. I also have a decolonization document. You may want to read that. Okay. And you're more than welcome to be part of our republic. Like I said, we are doing amazing things. All right. People have been asking for solutions and nobody's giving it to them. So I'm giving you the solutions because, like I said, I was sent for this. You feel me? And it's time to correct your status with the ancestors in the spiritual realm. And once you put it on the record, now some states may allow you to go to the clerk of court or the court clerk and put it on record. They may allow you to do it. Some of them don't. So if they don't, what you do is you get it notarized and then you go to the courts and then you authenticate the signature of the notary. That's another way of getting the stamps of the court on there. I'm giving you all the jewels. If they still don't want to do it, either they don't want to record it or they don't want to authenticate it, it's cool. The notary stands as a subdivision of the Secretary of State. So what you do now, you take your document, you make copies as is, with the notarized copy, and then you send copies to your Secretary of State, send copies to the sheriff, the police, motor vehicles department. You send that to the governor, and you send that to the mayor, and you send it to the attorney general, which is the highest law officer in your state. There's nothing to be afraid of. This is who we are. We got to stand on who we are. Nobody could force you to be a color in a crayon box. You dig? I'm here for you. I'm here for my people. And my email is always here. You dig? Let's step up. We don't have to fight anybody to be who we are. Correct ourselves with our ancestors, and they will do the rest. I promise you that. They will. This is your brother, Chief Flying Eagle Ra Elohim, the Black Identity Slayer. My email is there. Reach out. Let's make this thing happen.